This year's been an absolute banger for games, there's no doubt about that. From Donkey Kong Bonanza to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it's been non-stop heat, to the point where it will be a very good Game Awards season, and I'm really interested in seeing what takes home the crown this year. And I can't wait for everyone to throw their toys out the pram at the thought of their game not winning, their Game of the Year, and saying it's rigged like last year because Astrobot won instead of Black Myth Wukong. But this video isn't about that shit show that happened last year, but rather, I want to talk about a game that I know has went a bit under people's radars, but for me, it's a solid contender for my Game of the Year so far, and that game is The Alters. And if you watch my rematch video, you know that I was looking forward to this game a lot. And now it's here and I've beat it. I can happily say it didn't just live up to my expectations, but it blew them so far out of the water. The Alters is made from 11-bit studios, the same creators of Frostpunk and This War of Mine. And The Alters mixes different styles of games together, from base building to resource management to third-person exploration survival. And also does one of the most interesting things I've seen when it comes to the main cast of the game. It's all voiced by one guy, as they're all different versions of Jan. And the voice actor Alex Jordan does a fantastic job putting a different cadence to his voice depending on which version of Jan is playing. And the game is all about one man's survival and what he's willing to do to survive the rising sun and the new planet he's found himself on, and it's about his struggle to get home. I know people have thoughts on what should and shouldn't be on the Game of the Year list, but this game brings something a lot of other games don't, and that's heart. While fighting up against games that have snuck up on the Game Award list before that just shouldn't have been there, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree and Deathloop, they just shouldn't have snuck on, but because one's a DLC and Deathloop's just I don't know, I just hated Deathloop, but this game just has so much charisma and charm and heart to it. From here there's ever so slight spoilers about The Alters, but nothing too big. I won't spoil the actual game, it's just light touches on the story and stuff. This game nails the fact that Jan is just some builder who isn't anything special, just someone who's trying to escape his past. From his mother's death to his dad who abused him and his wife who divorced him, or he divorced. He's just some guy who's eaten alive by his insecurities. At the start of the game, the ship he's boarding crashes on an alien planet, killing all of the crew Jan was with, making him the sole survivor, while the sun was slowly catching up with him, which would instantly kill him. So he had to improvise by making a clone of himself. But this clone does things ever so differently in life. For example, the first clone of Jan didn't leave for college and instead got to stay with his mother while she was dying, and also stood up to his abusive father, and this intrigues the main Jan. So he starts prying about what happened during that time he got to spend with his mom, playing on his regret and insecurity about not being there for his mother in her last few years. And this is an ongoing thing with all his different alters, like the botanist stayed married to Lena, which is another insecurity to Jan Prime, but as time goes on, Jan learns that who he is because of all the decisions that he's made in the past. And while the other Jans share the same name and face, none of them share the same life as him. There's a lot more that happens with the story as well, with a corporation and their greed and sandstorms and different time stuff. But that's something for everyone to actually just experience with the game. But the theme of not letting your insecurities control you and ruin your life is an amazing one, and not to dwell too much on the past, instead try to work towards a better future. Those themes in this game are incredible, with lots of twists and turns accompanied by some amazing visuals and voice acting. And while other games might have a huge, massive boss fight finales and stuff, I don't think any game comes to the level of this game when it comes to emotional depth about identity and making you question yourself if your choices are right, because someone will always question you on the choice that you've made in this game, but you've just got to trust yourself. So like I said earlier, the gameplay in this game is just a bunch of different things mixed into one, but on top of everything, it is a survival game where you'll be exploring the planet and using your day to its fullest. And I think the reason I like this so much is because it reminds me of Pikmin. You explore a big area trying to find different items that will aid you on your journey, while trying to do things as quick and optimal as possible. But just like the story, you will not always do the right thing when it comes to sending your alters to do stuff. Sometimes they'll come back injured, or something will happen out of your control, but then it's just up to you as the new captain to fix up all the issues that you make. And you've got to also make sure the mission is not compromised. And something else about this game is there's a real sense of agency that you, the player, will have, because every single morning you're told what day it is and that the sun is getting closer. And if you're taking your sweet time with the game, it gets harder and harder, more enemies and more storms will start hitting you, and eventually the sun will rise, getting you and all the different versions of you killed. While both the exploration and resource management aren't super in-depth, let's say like a Frostpunk for the resource management and a Skyrim for the exploration, I think this game strikes the right amount of both, because it gives you 3 different distinct areas to explore, and they're all pretty big enough on their own, and you'll still have to manage all the different altars that you have at your disposal to make sure you have enough food, resources, and items to survive. So you've got to be paying attention to that, otherwise you can slip up and lose. So I do think the game strikes a good balance between all the different categories that it tackles, and the choices you have to make in this game, well, they sometimes are pretty fucked up, but no one else can make them but you. And the final choice of the game, I sat here for about 10 minutes thinking which option that I wanted to go with, because there were positives and negatives of both. And then the altars also throw a few questions in and requests that can change the outcome completely as well. That's amazing. Here we are, full circle from one of my more recent videos in which I speak about the Frostpunk's atmosphere that makes it a masterpiece, and I'm here to say the Altars is no exception in 11-bit Studios' expanding catalogue of games in where the atmosphere is near perfection. The thing this game has going for it is the fact it is so extremely lonely when you're walking around the different areas, but at the same time it is beautiful walking around the different alien landscapes. It's an extremely weird feeling, because as soon as one of your altars jumps on the comms and speaks to you, it fully throws you back into the swing of things, that they either need you for something or they aren't doing something, and you need to be put into the leader position and tell them what to do. So you're taking the role of an explorer of an alien planet and a leader of a colony. So yeah, also when you choose which altar you want to get, you get to see how their lives like veer off from Jan Prime's, and the art in those are so amazing. It gives me such Frostpunk vibes when you're selecting a different choice. Considering this game isn't a AAA game but rather a AA game from an indie team, is generally like it's phenomenal with how all the different areas look and how all the different art style works and how it's all sewn together. Oh, and the composer of the Frostpunk games has come back and seized this game as well with his magic. Yeah, I glazed that game's soundtrack, and this game is no different. There is one song in particular that I will mention, and that's during the intermission after Act 1, where all the different Jans get together and sing a song after being at each other's throats for such a long time. And that song is just perfect. It's one of my favourite bits about this game. The way each of them has a different style of voice and style of singing, like how the scientist began, like he thought the activity of doing the song was really stupid and a waste of time, so as the game starts, or as the song starts, sorry, he is just saying his lines. He doesn't really put any kind of rhythm to it, but as it gets going he starts actually singing his lines and giving it his all, like during the chorus, or how the botanist has a much softer voice than the rest and the technician has a more gruff voice. Like, the song doesn't go unnoticed with how well Alex Jordan's singing ability is, being able to put on different voices of the same character and, you know, them working so well together. And some of the voices are better, some of the voices are worse, but it just comes together to sound like an amazing song, and I still listen to it, you know, like almost daily. The player even gets to choose some of Jan Prime's lines, so yeah, visually amazing, soundtrack amazing. Now, while I love the autos, I'm not going to pretend that it will be for everyone. Like I said earlier, no matter what game wins or even gets nominated, there'll be people who are willing to go scorched earth for no apparent reason, as if their entire life was hanging on the Game Awards or their game to win or be nominated. And I think some of the issues that people would have with the alters is the gameplay is quite slow. You've got to really get into your resource management stuff, and a reason I don't think it might even get nominated, let alone win, is because I don't think a resource management or time management type of game has ever been nominated. Even Pikmin 4 wasn't nominated, because it's such a niche genre. Also, there's no real action in this game, but instead goes out of its way to tell a compelling story. But that's the exact point of this game. But I know it's not for everyone, same as a Frostpunk or a Balatro. Even though Balatro did get nominated, but, you know, different years, different games. As last year proved, Game of the Year isn't just about having the highest budget. Like, last year we saw Balatro sneak into the nominations, and that was a very well-deserved thing. But the awards should be based off impact, and the Alters mixes different genres together seamlessly, while also having stunning visuals and a fantastic soundtrack to top it all off, while telling a very captivating story that I'll be thinking about for a long time this year. And you know what? Probably next year as well. Do I think it will win? No. Not when this game this year has been non-stop bangers like Silksong, Claire 33, another two indie games that took the world by storm. And you even have AAA tanks in there like Death Stranding 2 or Donkey Kong Bonanza. And these games have all blew up and sold millions, so even if the Alters doesn't win the Game Awards or even get nominated, for me, it's definitely its spot for the year. If you haven't played the Alters, you should. It's on Game Pass right now. It's on Steam. I'm not sure if it's on the PlayStation Store, but maybe. And I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. And if you have played it, let me know what you think about it, or let me know what you think will be the Game of the Year. And yeah, thank you for watching.